How's it going, my guys, gals, non-binary pals, and nerds everywhere? Welcome back to Nerdsplosion, the weird podcast. We're based on a monthly topic. We're nerd out about whatever we want. How you doing over there, little lady? What?
I would just like to take a moment as kind of like a PSA.
Like my voice just went into a weird southern thing now, and my brain was like, you know what? Just go with it. Just run with it.
Y'all see how I do? What I do with? Start over. That was bad. I don't like that intro.
Nope. We're gonna keep going. Okay. We're rolling with this.
I saw a TikTok today, and I wanted to take a moment to announce it to the masses. Wash your emotional support cups. Even if you just put water in it, after a week, your emotional support water bottle has more bacteria in it than a dog's mouth.
Well,
and that's
also,
fucking gross.
Mold and mildew is a thing.
So, like, especially my Stanley girlies or my Miyoki girlies or my Simple Modern girlies, like, wash out the lid and the straw and, like, pull the rubber pieces off and scrub up in between there and let it air dry, and, like, you're just gonna make yourself sick, and then it's not worth it. So that's all I have to say about that. I just washed my emotional support cup this morning, and I was disgusted. After I saw that video, I washed like 6 cups.
And that's your local tip from us here at Nerdsplosion. But do you know it's not moldy and gross? The topic for today's episode and the theme for this month. Because this month... Yeah, thanks. This month, the theme is musicals. Now, besides like gaming and stuff, musicals are a big thing I really like, and I'm pretty sure you're a fan of musicals as well, too.
Yep.
And today, there's a topic I just wanted to get out of the way and just talk about because I've been waiting to do an episode on this for the longest time. Today's episode, we are going to be talking specifically about the theater group known as Starkid Productions. Now, I've shown you a few Starkid musicals, right? Or Starkid Productions.
Nerdy Prudes Must Die and Black Friday, I think.
So you're familiar with who they are. But I figured today we'll just kind of go through the history and kind of show, what they've done, what they've all done, what other people involved with them have done, while Kate stirs her ice loudly for everyone to hear.
I have to dissolve the flavor pack.
We have a stirrer for that.
Yeah,
anyway,
but then we get because I use that stirrer for my greens in the morning. So then my greens taste like ocean water and it's gross.
Anyway, Starkid, that's the topic for today. But before we get into that, new episodes of this podcast come out every Saturday, so I'll do all the things and all the stuff linked in the description. But with that being said, let's talk about Starkid. Before we get into everything, you might hear some rumbling in the background for this episode. For that explanation, we go over to Ollie with the Black U Weather Report. How's it looking out there, Ollie? It's gonna rain. Thanks, Ollie. So, anyway, Starkid.
Nice old school Family Guy reference.
Yeah, the real OGs will know that reference. Anyway, Starkid Productions, also known as Team Starkid, then I'm reading off the Wikipedia, is an American musical theater company founded in 2009 at the University of Michigan by Darren Criss, Brian Holden, Matt Lang, and Nick Lang. Now, does the name Darren Criss ring any bells for you?
I feel like it should, but no, it doesn't.
Darren Criss? Well, first off, that guy. For those listening, I'm showing her a picture. I know, good closed caption narration.
Cute. He's in Glee, right?
Yeah, he's Glee. He's Blaine.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's Blaine in Glee. But continuing on, originally known for the viral success of their first musical, A Very Potter Musical, a parody of the Harry Potter series, the troupe primarily produces musical comedies inspired by pop culture with original strips, songs, and music. Starkid distributes their musicals for free on YouTube, with recent projects being funded by Kickstarter and physical ticket sales. Since the success of A Very Potter Musical, the group has produced 13 stage musicals, including 2 Potter sequels, 3 national tours, 2 reunion concert specials, a concert in London, 3 sketch comedy shows, and 3 web series. As of 2023, the company has charted 13 albums in the top 10 on Billboard charts.
Oh, damn.
The cast recording of Me and My Dick debuted at number 11 on the U.S. Cast Albums chart in 2010, becoming the first student-produced musical recording to chart on Billboard. The following year, they landed at number 1 on the same chart with the cast recording of Starship, a feat that has since been repeated with their 2019 musical Black Friday and their 2023 musical Nerdy Prudes Must Die. And now, a history of Starkid. Starkid Productions is composed of actors, writers, directors, composers, choreographers, and designers, most of them originating from the University of Michigan School of Music, Theater, and Dance. The members met while collaborating on plays through Basement Arts, the university's student-run theater organization. In April 2009, the students staged a musical parody of the Harry Potter series entitled A Very Potter Musical. The video of the play went viral on the internet, garnering Starkid a worldwide fanbase. Inspired by the viral nature of the video, Starkid Productions was formed, named after a quote from the musical. Later, 2 sequels were performed and released on YouTube, A Very Potter Sequel in 2010 and A Very Potter Senior Year in 2012. The Team Starkid YouTube channel was created on June 19, 2009. As of April 2024, the channel has over 810,000 subscribers and over 340 million combined views. Aside from the viral Harry Potter adaptations, Team Starkid has produced a number of other musical theater parody shows, creating both original stories and pop culture-based parodies of Disney, DC Comics, Star Wars, and the Oregon Trail. Starkid and its members are associated with various other theater groups, most notably Tin Can Brothers and Shipwrecked Comedy. Team Starkid has had 2 major moves since its founding in 2009. The first was to Chicago after the founders graduated from the University of Michigan, and the second was to Los Angeles.
Well, when you were talking about it, I realized that I watched the Oregon Trail one with you, too. I don't remember what that one's called, though.
Yeah, so going on this list of their musical theater productions, and I'll just give the original dates they came out, because most, if not all of these, are on their YouTube currently. First, the very first one that they did was A Very Potter Musical, which went from April 9th to the 11th in 2009. And then we have Me and My Dick, which was October 29th to the 31st in 2009. A Very Potter Sequel from May 14th to the 16th, 2010. Starship, February 11th to the 23rd, 2011. Holy Musical Batman, March 22nd to the 25th, 2012. A Very Potter Senior Year, August 11th, 2012. Twisted, The Untold Story of a Royal Vizier, from July 4th to the 28th in 2013. Annie, a Parody, July 3rd to August 10th, 2014. The Trail to Oregon, July 3rd to August 10th, 2014. Fireburner, July 6th, August 7th, 2016. The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, October 11th to November 4th, 2018. Black Friday, October 31st to December 8th, 2019. Nerdy Prudes Must Die, February 16th to the 25th, 2023. VHS Christmas Carols, November 17th to the 19th, 2023. And then we have Cinderella's Castle, which is the most recent one, July 18th to the 21st, and then July 25th to the 27th of this year, 2024. So yeah, Cinderella's Castle is the most recent one they did, because they just performed it, and I believe the YouTube version of it, like the YouTube version of it, is coming out later this year.
That was going to be my next question, is if it was on YouTube already.
It's not necessarily on YouTube yet. Like, they've just performed. They've done all their, like, performances already. And whenever they get everything together, the YouTube version is going to come out probably late this year, if not early 2025. Because that's usually how a lot of their things go. Like, they'll do all their performances, and they have the one that they perform, for, like, YouTube or whatever, and they'll release it, like, either almost immediately or, like, once they get everything settled, Mm-hmm. So, what I really love about Starkid is because it doesn't feel like just another theater group. Like, they're, like, when you think of, like, the weird, crazy theater kids, Like, that's them. It's like you basically took all the, like, how theater kids are, like, amongst their friend group. And, like, that's the shows. That's the shows.
Yeah.
I just really liked all their different musicals they did. And I've grouped them into two separate... So, I feel like there's two different sides of Starkid. There's the parody side, and then there's the Hatchetfield side, which I will explain. But first, let's get into the parody ones. We already talked about a Harry Potter musical, but to briefly go over the story of that, because I'm not going to go into all the synopsis for the different acts, because, I mean, hey, watch for yourself. I'd highly recommend it. But to kind of briefly sum up a Harry Potter musical, it tells the story of Harry Potter's return to Hogwarts, his participation in the House Cup Championship, the trials and tribulations of adolescence, and the return of the Dark Wizard Lord Voldemort and the Golden Trio's attempts to destroy the Horcruxes. The cast listing in this, if I can get down to it, I gotta go through all the synopsis. Darren Criss as Harry Potter, Joey Richter as Ron Weasley.
I love Joey Richter.
Bonnie Grusin as Hermione Granger, Jamie Lynn Beatty as Ginny Weasley, Lauren Lopez as Draco Malfoy, Joe Walker as Lord Voldemort, Dylan Saunders as Albus Dumbledore, Brian Rosenthal as Professor Quirrell, Joe Moses, Severus Snape, Brittany Cullen, Bellatrix Lestrange, Tyler Brunsman plays both Cedric Diggory and Cornelius Fudge, Devin Little plays Cho Chang, Richard Campbell, Neville Longbottom, Julia Albane, Vincent Crabbe, Sandro Tajima, Lavander Brown, Jim Povolo as Gregory Doyle, and Lily March as Pansy Partisan and Molly Weasley. Now, I haven't seen much of a Harry Potter musical. Like, I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never actually sat down and watched the full thing. But one of the biggest highlights for me, and for a lot of people too, is Lauren Lopez's portrayal of Draco.
I've seen it all over my TikTok, and it's...
Because she's
10
just...
out of 10, do recommend.
She's just perfect for it. It's a really funny musical. There's not much I can really say on this musical. Just like I said, I've only seen bits and pieces, but I've yet to actually sit down and watch the full thing. But I definitely highly recommend it. And there's a reason why this is the production that got them like really popular, because they put the whole thing up for free on YouTube, and everybody was like, "Wow, this is really good," and they got like millions of views on it. So obviously, it's a damn good musical for them to get really popular just from that.
Right. From
a Harry Potter parody. Are you kidding me? Next one I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if I showed you this, but this is one I definitely like. Twisted, the untold story of a royal vizier. This is basically...
Is it an Aladdin parody?
Yeah, it's basically Aladdin, but it's like Wicked. It basically takes inspiration from the Disney movie Aladdin, the original story, 1001 Nights, or whatever that one is, and also Wicked. So it's basically Wicked, but it's Aladdin. And it's all from the perspective of Jafar, basically. Like him just trying to, basically it's Jafar feeling like he's understood, or is misunderstood, And I actually really like this musical. It's actually really funny, but also has some really good songs in it. For the cast, we have Jafar played by Dylan Saunders. The princess, not necessarily Princess Jasmine, because they don't specify
Copyright.
in the Wikipedia. Rachel Soglin, which was... So there was the original cast in 2013, and then there was a concert in 2014. So Dylan Saunders was the original Jafar, and then AJ Holmes did Jafar in the concert. Rachel Soglin did the princess in 2013, and then Andrea Rose did the princess in 2014. The role of Aladdin in this musical is played by the man, the myth, the legend, Jeff Blim.
I love Jeff Blim.
Jeff Blim is a fucking godsend to Starship
so
production.
Fucking funny.
Like his facial expressions, the energy he gives, he's so fucking funny.
Okay, before we go any further, am I thinking of the right guy? Long, kind of curly blonde hair.
Yeah, he's kind of got a big mouth.
Kind of looks like he might be on drugs.
Yeah,
okay,
that's him. My favorite. Actually, I'll go through the rest of this cast. Prince Ahmed / the Vizier, played by Joe Walker. Sultan / Jin, played by Nick Gage. Captain, played by Jim Pavolo. Sherazade, played by Meredith Stepien. Monkey / Ensemble, Lauren Lopez. Bird / Ensemble.
I like how we have Princess, Monkey, and Bird.
Well, because it's owned by Disney, so you can't straight up be like Princess Jasmine, Iago, because the mouse will be like, oh, that's ours, you fucks.
Issue a cease and desist immediately.
Immediate cease and desist. Yeah, Bird / Ensemble, Denise Donovan. Sea Witch / Ensemble, Jimmy Limbetti. And then General Ensemble, Robert Mannion and Alex Paul. Robert Mannion is another one that I love. I'll get to him in a later.
So they just stuffed a Sea Witch into a Wicked / Aladdin?
Oh, no. Because here's the thing with that. There's a thing where, I forget the part exactly, but Jafar is just like, he's really upset about being misunderstood. And there's a song in there where he's like, with his thoughts, and all like these different people come out as different Disney villains.
That's fucking
like
funny.
Jimmy Limbetti comes out as like obviously Ursula. Then there's somebody that comes out as Captain Hook, and then somebody else that comes out as like Oogie Boogie. I think Lauren Lopez actually comes out as like Maleficent, but it's not like actually Maleficent, but it's pretty obvious that it's Maleficent.
That's really funny.
They just can't straight up call them like by their name. I'll have to show it to you later because this is actually a really funny part of it. But my other favorite part, so actually, I have the whole musical numbers right here. Oh yeah, the song is called Twisted, where basically Jafar and all these other quote-unquote Disney villains come out. But I want to say, probably my favorite part of this musical, it's when Aladdin goes a little cuckoo bananas, because in this musical, Aladdin is portrayed as just such a dick. Because obviously it focuses on Jafar, because Jafar is, the main character. He's misunderstood. So Aladdin is just nothing but just a major asshole the whole time. And there's one part where he goes fucking crazy and threatens to like kidnap Jasmine and kill her. And he has like this split personality thing. I love my parents.
But that didn't stop me from doing what needed to be done. Hey, what? Yeah, dude. Remember me? You're the guy who killed my parents. Where you been, man? In your reflection. I live here. No, I live here. No. You're just squatting here. Wait. If I'm you, then that means I killed my parents? But I didn't want them to die. Who are you kidding? You wish for it every goddamn day of your life. They were gonna kick you out of the house. They were, weren't they? Make you get a job. I don't want one of those. That's why they had to die. Wow. I guess you're right. I guess I should be thanking you. Yeah, I think a thank you's in order. Well, thank you. You're welcome. Now, time to get that lamp back. Wait, what are you gonna do with the lamp? Wish for stuff, jackass.
Wish for stuff, jackass.
Pretty good idea, by the way. But there are better ideas. Better wishes. Like what? I don't know. But it's gonna be one hell of a ride.
And then, so it cut off. But, like, the best part about that is that, like, after he does that, it, like, pans over to Jafar, and then Jafar is just like, okay, Jesus Christ, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Help.
Because Jafar's just like, I don't know what just happened.
Wish for stuff, jackass.
Wish for stuff, jackass. I
mean, yeah, what the hell else are you supposed to do with a magic lamp?
But no, Twisted is like, it's really good. It has really good songs. It's really funny. It's definitely like they don't just parody like Aladdin and stuff. Like they take jabs at Disney themselves. It's a really great musical. Definitely check it out. Next one I wanted to focus on is The Trail to Oregon. See, the musical parodies the video game series The Oregon Trail. The characters' names were picked from suggestions shouted from the audience, and at the end, the audience chooses which character dies. So, the casting in this, we have the father, played by Jeff Blim, and I'm just going off the first one that's here because that's the one you're going to see on YouTube when you look it up. The father, played by Jeff Blim. Mother, played by Rachel Sudlin. The daughter, played by Jamie Lynn Beatty. Son, played by Lauren Lopez. Grandpa / Cletus Jones, played by Corey Doris.
Cletus.
And McDoon / Ensemble and Ox / Ensemble, both played by fucking Joey Richter. Joey Richter gives his all in this
Joey
one.
Richter.
This is also, I believe this is the first musical that Corey Doris is in, and he's phenomenal as well. Like, my God. And I like that they just generally, call it father, mother, daughter, son. Because, like I said, you choose, like, in the beginning of this, the audience chooses the name for the characters. And I forget what they are in, I remember one though. So the father, when he asks the audience what they want the names to be, they give the father the name Jack Bauer, which from a video I saw, apparently Jeff Blim wanted the character just be named Jack Bauer originally, but they scrapped the idea in the favor of, hey, since we're doing an Oregon Trail parody, let's just, let the audience decide the names because that's what you do in the game. So let's let the audience decide the game. And in the YouTube version, somebody puts out Jack Bauer, and you literally see the hugest smile on Jeff Blim's face because he knows that somebody else knows the history of it.
Aw, that's cute.
And I love Lauren Lopez as the son because it's this grown adult woman playing a small boy and who is obsessed with taking their clothes off and going skinny dipping.
I mean, yeah.
And my favorite thing about like the son character is they're obsessed with, they're like, how can I learn things unless I put them in my mouth? There's a lot of good songs in here. There's Gone to Oregon. When the World's at Stake is a really good song. Wagon on Fire is a really good song. What else? Caught the Wagon, You Gotta Go. Speed Run is a really good one. And then Naked in a Lake is the closer. Trail to Oregon is it's a really good, it's probably one of my favorites out of the parody musicals. And like I said, they did like different endings. So in the YouTube version, it used to be able to choose different ones, but it kind of just ends suddenly, so you have to look up the different endings. But they filmed in the same location for the YouTube version all the different endings, like if the audience chooses the father to die, if they choose grandpa to die. So there's all different kinds of endings, but ultimately in the end, whoever died comes back to life, and they make it to Oregon, and they sing the song Naked in a Lake, while they're skinny dipping in a lake, and they basically celebrate finally getting to Oregon. And so, a little fun fact about this musical, and you'll probably enjoy this. The original idea Jeff Blim had was to have an ox, or have a human, like somebody who was playing the Trail of Oregon, be sucked into the game as an ox, but like as a weird ox-human hybrid. But they kept the idea in by having like a one-off character played by Joey Richter, the ox that they get to pull their wagon. And there's a part where, he has the whole family like put their hands in and like, oh, let's go to Oregon. And even the ox, and you did like, they're all like Oregon, and then the ox is like, please kill me.
When we watched that fucking killed me the first time we saw it. I was not expecting the ox to be like, I wish for death.
Which is funny. During the song Independence, when they get to the town of Independence, Joey Richter does so many quick changes during the song. It's not even funny because he plays like 4 different characters in the same song.
Right.
Like he plays the person that greets you. He plays like a random citizen, another random citizen, and then the store owner. So he does like 4 characters in one song, and it's amazing. You said you watched this one with me. What did you think of this one? Because I feel like I've been talking this whole episode. I want to give you a chance to say some things.
I mean, I don't have much to say. I liked it.
Moving on to the next one.
My musical interests are in like Broadway musicals. Not that Starkid isn't. It's just I don't have I don't have as much exposure or as much like. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but like we watched the videos on YouTube, and yeah, they're good and they're funny and like they're catchy, but yeah, I don't know. It's about as far as my opinion goes.
Moving on to what I believe is like the other half of Starkid stuff, the Hatchetfield half. Now, this is musicals that are in the Hatchetfield series, which is basically an ongoing, overall like spooky story. While
these ones were really good, I did enjoy these.
So the first one in this line of stuff is The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. Musical lyrics by Jeff Blim. And basically, it's, let's see. The show is the first installment in Starkid's Hatchetfield series, loosely inspired by the 1956 horror film Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It is the 11th stage show produced by Starkid Productions. The show follows Paul, an average guy who doesn't like musicals, as the citizens of his town are gradually overcome by an alien hive mind that makes them sing and dance as if they are in a musical. So yeah, pretty crazy concept for a fucking musical, huh?
I love that for him.
I love, like in the opening song, because the opening song is called The Guy Who Doesn't Like Musicals, and there's a part where they're trying to introduce Paul. They're like, here he is, his name is Paul, enter now, and then just nothing, and Jeff Blim's character looks over and he's like, where the fuck is he? And then Corey Dorsey's character is like, I have no fucking clue. And then another pause, and they're like, the guy who didn't like musicals. And so, yeah, it says loosely inspired by Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I've never seen all of that movie. I've seen like a certain clip where this woman goes up to this guy that she thinks she knows, but this guy's already possessed. But she finds that out by
They're
the
not
fact
possessed, they've been snatched.
Or they've been snatched. And she finds that out by this guy, like, staring at her, and then they're just going, or some kind of noise like that.
That would be fucking traumatizing.
Like, it's so weird. It's definitely spooky for 1956. So, the casting in this one.
But it also definitely had, like, Killer Clowns from Outer Space vibes.
Oh, no, I feel like that's a totally different vibe. Because it's like Killer Clowns from Outer Space is like funny, scary.
Yeah, but it wasn't supposed to be funny. That was the thing.
They're clowns. Why wouldn't it be funny?
Because clowns are fucking terrifying.
Well, then that's a bad clown. Anyway.
Fuck clowns, for real, and I'll die on that hill.
The casting for The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals is John Madison as Paul Matthews, Lauren Lopez as Emma Perkins, and, additional background characters. Joey Richter as Ted Spankowski and other additional background characters. Jamie Lynn Beatty as Charlotte Sweetley, Nora, Deb, and other background characters. Corey Doris as Bill Woodard and additional background characters. Robert Mannion as Professor Higgins, probably the best character in the whole musical, additional background characters. Mariah Rose Faith Casillas as Alice Woodward, Zoe Chambers in additional backgrounds, and Jeff Blim as Sam Sweetley, General McNamara, Mr. Davidson, and additional background characters. Now, I believe this is the first musical that Mariah Rose Faith Casillas was in, and this is the one that you thought was Kat Dennings.
She looks exactly like Kat Dennings.
They literally look almost exactly the same. So I want to go over these descriptions because I love the descriptions they do for each of the characters. So we have Paul Matthews, a guy who doesn't like musicals and is unsure of what he wants in life. He has a crush on Emma and frequently visits the coffee shop she works at as an excuse to see her. Emma Perkins, a barista who is trying to work her way through community college. She hates Hatchetfield, her job, and musicals. Ted Spankowski, the office asshole. He's been having an affair with Charlotte for some time. Charlotte Sweetley, an anxious woman committed to a failing marriage with Sam. She is secretly cheating on Sam with Ted. We have Nora, Emma's boss, at Beanie's, the coffee shop. Bill Woodward, a divorced father trying to connect with his teenage daughter, Alice. Alice Woodward, a teenage girl who's caught between her parents' divorce and facing the struggles of growing up. Then we have Deb, who is Alice's bad girl girlfriend. Zoe Chambers, who is a catty college girl who works with Emma. She loves musical theater and is also having an affair with Sam.
Oh.
Professor Henry Higgins, Emma's biology professor and doomsday survivalist. Then we have Mr. Ken Davidson, Paul's laid-back boss. Sam Sweetley, Charlotte's cheating husband, a police officer who is having an affair with Zoe. And then General John McNamara, a military general who finds Paul and tries to help. He works for PEIP, a secret organization that investigates paranormal, interdimensional, and extraterrestrial phenomena. Thus, PEEP. Did that one get you?
Yes, I work for PEEP. We're a very serious ghost hunting crew.
Paranormal, interdimensional, and extraterrestrial phenomenon. We call ourselves PEEP.
PEEP. I'm sorry. With a name like PEEP, you cannot be taken seriously.
Out of all these characters, my two favorites from this entire musical are General McNamara and Professor Higgins. Because Professor Higgins is just this, like, out there, like, end of the world guy, and he's just all like, oh, the world is ending.
Like the professor from Back to the Future?
Well, kinda, but younger and a little more unhinged.
Oh, that's not a good combination.
Younger and unhinged. I'll go through the list of songs because there's not many. Split between Act 1 and 2, we have The Guy Who Did Like Musicals, La-Di-Da-Da-Day, What Do You Want, Paul, which is one of my favorites.
What do you want, Paul?
Because this is when Paul finds out that Mr. Davidson had been taken over by this hive mind. And it's Jeff Blim plays Mr. Davidson, and the faces he makes during this song are just funny. Like, I know you guys can't see it, but if you know the musical, you know what I mean when I'm like, what do you want, Paul? To describe what I did.
Little, huh?
To describe what I did, I just looked over at Kate, like whipped my head to her with just an open mouth smile.
Big,
just like,
doofy open mouth smile and wide eyes like they're trying to pop out of his head.
We have cup of roasted coffee, followed by cup of poisoned coffee. So cup of roasted coffee is when Nora has been taken over by the hive mind, and they sing a song at Beanie's about the coffee. And then when Emma finds out that they have been taken over by this alien hive mind, it goes into the song Cup of Poison Coffee. So basically, alright, sorry for the sudden jump in, sudden right turn and stuff, but apparently Audacity just crashed in the middle of me talking. Rude. But to briefly go over everything that we literally had just spent, the past 10 minutes talking about, to basically no one. We have the guy doing like musicals, Cup of Poison Coffee, which is a reprise of Roasted Coffee, Show Me Your Hands, You Tied Up My Heart, Join Us and Die, Not Your Seed, which is a really good song by Maria Rose Faith, and she just gives her all to it. Showstopping Number, which is my favorite song from this musical, like bar none. America's Great Again, sung by General Matt Namara. Let 'Em Come, which is kind of a reprise of the guy who did like musicals, the opening number. Let It Out, which is Paul going to destroy the meteor, which is the source of the hive mind that crash landed in the Starlight Theater in Hatchetfield. So he goes to destroy it, but obviously he's trying to resist being taken over by the hive mind, ultimately pulling a grenade and blowing up the meteor. And then we have Inevitable, which the musical ends. Spoilers, sorry, I know I wasn't going over any plot. But basically, Emma and Paul have been in a helicopter crash before Paul went to destroy the meteor. And then before the last song, we see Emma come out with a bandage on her leg, and this military woman basically giving her a new name and in order to protect her from the events that happen at Hatchetfield. And she reveals that, there's a guy looking for her, and Emma's like, oh, I don't know anybody by that name. And then the military woman is like, oh, our records indicate you two know each other very well. And it's Paul that comes out, and, Emma's so excited to see Paul until Paul starts singing. And then Emma quickly realizes that he has in fact been taken over by the hive mind. And then these other characters come out, and Inevitable is basically a mashup of a bunch of different songs from the musical, ultimately ending with Emma being taken over by all these other different characters, including Paul. And what I like about the YouTube version is the fact that when it ends, they do the typical stand and bow that theater people do. But Emma, Lauren Lopez is still in character as Emma, and she's screaming at the audience, being like, why are you clapping? Someone help! And all the different characters drag her off stage. It's Inevitable and Showstopping Number are probably my two favorite songs from this musical. You said you watched this one, right? You saw this one?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I didn't like it as much as I like the other Hatchetfield ones, but it was good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, anything else you wanted to add to it before we move on to the other Hatchetfield ones?
Nah, we can move on.
All right, moving on to the second installment in the Hatchetfield series, Black Friday. Let's see. Black Friday... Let me see. I'm trying to find a good, synopsis. But, so basically this is Black Friday. The whole deal with this is it's done around, Black Friday, obviously. And everybody's trying to get their hands on this doll called Wiggly, which you find out later in the musical is actually different this supernatural being from a dimension called the Black and White. And I think the actual name of this being is Wodagarath.
That sounds right, yeah.
But it planted itself in this doll called Wiggly, which everyone obsesses over to the point where they're willing to kill people to get one. The cast for Black Friday includes Dylan Saunders, who returns to Starkid as Tom Houston. And then we have probably one of my favorite Smosh girls, Angela Giratana as Lex Foster and additional background characters. Kim Wallen as Becky Barnes, Lauren Lopez as Linda Monroe and Emma Perkins, Kendall Nicole Yakshi, I think that's how you say her name, as Hannah Foster and Tim Houston. We have Kurt Mega as President Howard Goodman, Jeff Blim as General McNamara and Man in a Hurry.
Fuck you!
Yeah, that's my favorite part. Yeah, just, oh my god. So this part, there's these people in line when you get a Wiggly, and Jeff Blim's Man in a Hurry character gets a little aggressive, tries to grab it, and somebody else is like, get your hands off her, and he just turns around like, fuck you!
So funny.
We have Corey Doris as Frank Priceley, Jamie Limbidi as Sherman Yun. We have John Madison as Paul Matthews, and the voice of Wiggly, aka Wodagarath. We have Robert Mannion as Ethan Green.
That is not how I would have spelled Wagagarath.
We have Robert Mannion as Ethan Green and Christopher Grindle. We have Joey Richter as the homeless guy / Uncle Wiley / Wilbur Cross. And we have James Tolbert as Xander Lee and security guard. To describe these characters, Tom Houston, a war veteran, he lost his wife Jane the year prior and has a son named Tim. He used to date Becky in high school. Then we have Alexandra Foster, or Lex, a teenager who works at Toy Zone. She dates Ethan and takes care of her younger sister, Hannah. We have Betty Barnes, a nurse. She used to date Tom in high school. Linda Monroe, a spoiled wife to Gerald and mother of 4 boys. She later becomes Wiggly's prophet. Hannah Foster, a troubled young girl with psychic powers. She lives with Lex and Ethan. And then we have Ethan Green, Lex's boyfriend. He is shown to care deeply about her and Hannah. General John McNamara, a general for the secret agency called PEEP.
Peep.
President Howard Goodman, President of the United States. Frank Presley, the greedy manager of Toy Zone. Sherman Yun, a middle-aged toy collector who wants to buy all the Wiggly dolls for himself. Gary Goldstein, an attorney at law who represents multiple characters throughout the show, most notably Linda Monroe. And then we have Wiggly / Wagagarath, a malevolent, extra-dimensional entity that wants to rule the world. He takes the form of a doll, aka Wiggly.
Me too, Wagagarath.
So looking at the featured characters, obviously we have Uncle Wiley, who is a mysterious man who works for Wiggly. Xander Lee, a physicist and fuel agent with PEEP. And then we have Man in a Hurry, described as a man in a hurry.
Fuck you.
Fuck you! We have Tim Houston, Tom's son. We have Christopher Kringle, a character in Santa Claus is Going to High School, a movie within the play. He is Santa, having taken the form of a high school student. So yeah, Christopher Kringle, basically, Santa Claus is Going to High School is a movie that
Christopher Kringle?
Tom and Betty see in the play, which also features Noelle. And then we have 2 returning characters that a lot of people loved to see in this. We have Paul Matthews and Emma Perkins, who you might remember was in the previous show, Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. They actually show up as, I don't know if they're relatives to Tom Houston, but they know Tom Houston. Like they're willing to babysit Tom's kid for him while he goes Christmas shopping, basically. And as soon as I saw that, and I was like, oh, that's, good. That's a good callback.
Well, if they exist in the same universe, yeah.
It's all in the same universe, not necessarily the same timeline, because it's all like, I guess, different timelines, but it's all like the same universe, I would say. Now, the thing about Black Friday, this is technically the first Starkid musical I got into that I heard of. Or actually, no, Nerdy Prisms Die was technically the first one, and then it was this one. All because of Angela Uratina. Because she joined Smosh, and then there was a Try Not to Laugh that they did, which featured a bunch of people from Starkid. So it was then that I decided to check out Starkid, and I saw both Nerdy Prisms Die and this, and Black Friday. And it's funny, like, speaking on Angela, seeing her in this, and then seeing her in Smosh, it's like 2 different people, almost.
Yeah.
Like, in this, Angela is like a legitimate actor and like stage performer, and she's like phenomenal. And then you have her in Smosh, where she is just, the best way to describe it is a feral guinea pig.
Completely unhinged
feral guinea pig. Did you watch this one with me, or did you see this one?
Yeah.
What did you think of this one?
I liked this one a lot. I felt like it was a little bit, I don't know, it was just easier to get into. I liked the plot line. I liked the storyline. This
one was a lot less. It focused a lot less on comedy. Like, it had comedy in it, but it focused a lot less on it. It was, I would definitely say, more serious. One of the more serious ones that they've done.
Yeah.
But I really liked Black Friday. It's one of the few one of their musicals I actually have the whole soundtrack for in my music. Any other thoughts on this one before we go on to the last one? No. And the last one I want to talk about, well, there's other ones that I'll mention, but the last one in the Hatchetfield series that's currently out right now is Nerdy Prudes Must Die, which again came out February 16th, 2023. Now, the synopsis for this is the basic plot of this is it starts off with two police officers investigating the death of a high school student, which it kind of jumps forward and then back. It's one of those that plays out a scene that you don't know exactly who's involved until later in the musical. So basically what this is about is there's these group of kids, like a kind of a tom girl, and we have, actually, I'll go over the cast first before I get into that. We have Joey Richter as Peter Spankowski. We have Mariah Rose Faith as Stephanie Lauder. Angela Giratina as Grace Chastity. Will Branner as Max Yeagerman. Lauren Lopez as Ruth Fleming, Blinky, Emma Perkins, and Ensemble. Wait, did I say Lauren Lopez?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I did. I was just like, as I was reading it off, I'm like, wait, did I say who played these characters?
I think so, yeah.
John Madison as Richie Lipschitz, Wiggly, Paul Matthews, Boy Jerry, Trevor, and Ensemble. Corey Doris as Solomon Lauder, Pokey, Jason Jepson, and Ensemble. Bryce Charles as Detective Shapiro, Brenda, and Ensemble. Kurt Mega as Tinky, Officer Bailey, Mark Chastity, Kyle Clogger, and Ensemble, and Tim Wellen as Nibley, Karen Chastity, Miss Tessberger, Miss Mulberry, Stacy, and Ensemble. So the basic plot of this is there's a group of kids that end up kind of getting together. Like Stephanie is kind of like a bad girl. She's doing like not that great in school, but she's also the mayor's daughter that ends up getting in trouble with Peter Spankowski because they were caught cheating on a test by Grace Chastity, who is like this overly Christian, like good girl or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the ultimate story behind this is that there is a well-known bully throughout the school called Maxie Yeagerman, and Stephanie, Peter, Richie, and Ruth decide to do a plot. They form a plot, and Grace Chastity, they form a plot to lure Max Yeagerman to this house, to this like well-known haunted house in Hatchetfield, to basically scare him into not being a bully anymore. And their plan doesn't really work out. Max kind of laughs it off, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are really the best. You guys, no one's ever done this for me." And they're like, "I'm sorry, what?" Like, he's overly positive about it. But an accident happens at this house where Max Yeagerman falls and impales himself on some broken stairs, and he vows to get vengeance on them by saying, quote, "Nerdy prudes must die." So for a while, everything's all peachy and everything because the school bully, the school asshole, is dead. But then he comes back from the dead and ends up killing off Richie and Ruth, and they're like some other background characters, but they don't really focus on them. Ultimately, they decide to form a plot to basically finish off Max and like send him into the afterlife for good. And they end up summoning the Lords in Black from the previously mentioned dimension of the Black and White, which we heard about in Black Friday, which, calls for the gods Blinky, if I can find the characters. I can find Blinky, Pokey, Tinky, and the previously mentioned Wiggly from Black Friday. And basically, Grace, Steph, and Peter strike a deal with them. They're like, hey, the Lords of Black, we didn't get rid of Max Yagerman, but you have to give up something you cherish most. And they kind of go back and forth, and there's a whole thing between Stephanie and Peter because they kind of fall for each other, that they think that, oh, the thing they have to give up most is one of them, so one has to kill the other, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But they end up not doing that because as Stephanie is about to, kill off Peter, Max comes out of nowhere and basically ruins the whole plan. So what ends up happening and how they get rid of Max is Grace seduces Max and ends up having sex with Max's ghost. Because
iconic.
What Grace cherished most was her chastity. Her virginity, basically. So she gave up her virginity, to which the Lords of Black were like, all right, good enough for us. Which, kind of a plot twist, at the end of the musical, Grace, kisses her homecoming date. She is disgusted and reveals her plan to kill all dirty dudes, which ties into the song Dirty Dudes Must Die, which I did not see coming, and I hope there's a continuation on this.
Grace Chastity as an all-powerful witch, essentially, is the plot twist I did not know I needed.
Right? Like Angela plays a good, possessed fucking Christian. I don't know where I'm going with that.
The thing is that Angela plays unhinged characters so well that it's just like she could play anybody, and I'd be like, yeah, I buy that. I buy that she's actually like that.
And this is the first one I showed you, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of the whole show in general?
I went into it wanting to hate it because the title sounds stupid. But I really couldn't. I thought it was funny. The timing was impeccable. The storyline was intriguing. The fact that these kids are my favorite part of the whole thing is that this whole situation could have been avoided in the first place if they just went to the police and was like, hey, we were playing a prank. It went terribly wrong. This is what happened. It was completely accidental. And then they end up getting pursued for because the cops are like, no, we're pretty sure they killed this kid.
I like the fact that, basically, the school bully dies, and instead of people mourning the death, everyone's just like, man, everything's great now.
Life actually doesn't suck in high school.
Life doesn't suck
dead.
now.
Yeah.
A couple weeks after Max dies, everybody's getting along, everybody's happy.
Further proving that he was the problem the entire time.
It's him. Hi. He's the problem. It's him.
It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me.
Okay. Here's some interesting thing in development. Nerdy Prudes Must Die was first mentioned during a live stream on October 11th, 2019, and was due to be performed in 2020, but was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Starkid Productions considered condensing the musical into a shorter story and making it a part of the Nightmare Time web series if it was postponed for too long, but this never happened.
I'm glad they didn't shorten it. I don't think it would have hit as hard if it was shortened.
Right. The show was officially announced on June 10th, 2022, and a trailer was posted the next day. A recorded performance was uploaded to Starkid's YouTube channel on October 13th, 2023. And I think it was shortly after that Angela on Smosh brought on a couple people from Starkid and had them on a Try Not to Laugh to promote Nerdy Prudes Must Die.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the COVID-19 pandemic, that was another show they did during the pandemic, Nightmare Time, which obviously was all done on Zoom and stuff, but it was basically kind of an explanation of the weird Hatchetfield timeline, and also how it splits and how it does its own story.
Right.
I haven't watched it fully beginning to end, but it's definitely if you're confused by the whole plot stuff, the timeline for the Hatchetfield stuff, then Nightmare Time is definitely something to watch. And there was the thing you mentioned earlier when I mentioned Working Boys, which they released pretty recently, I want to say, as a whole thing on YouTube, a short production on YouTube. And it's basically Professor Higgins if he actually like went forward with doing Working Boys. But the plot of that is that they agreed to have him do his production of Working Boys, but they wanted to change the cast to all girls.
Yeah.
And he was not okay with it. He had them like cast as girls, but he refused to change the script at all. And he was slowly going mad and just getting more like unhinged and stuff because his vision was not being realized. So what he ended up doing is sabotaging his own musical, and he, in front of this whole like audience of people, shot somebody and was just went crazy, and he was haunted by the ghosts of his friends, the Working Boys. And ultimately, Grace Chastity is the one that ended up killing him to end his reign of terror, I should say.
Yeah, and she was like kind of really good at it, and then she was like, but wait, I killed somebody.
Well, yeah, you can't be scared that you killed somebody while also being a magnificent shot.
Right.
Right between the eyes. I feel like this episode was kind of a mess, but I feel like we did pretty good talking about Starkid stuff.
I would agree.
And I do want to apologize if this episode was very scatterbrained. I'm very sweaty, and when I'm sweaty, like, I don't think correctly.
See, that's why I took a nice cold shower before we started to record.
I didn't even think of that.
It's thunderstorming.
Is that what that was?
Yep.
I thought that was them.
Nope.
But anyway, that's my whole thing on Starkid musicals. Like I said, go to their YouTube and just watch a bunch of their shows. It might not be for everyone, but hey, if it's your thing, it's your thing. I definitely just recommend checking them out, at least, seeing what they have to offer, because they have a lot to offer, believe me. And like I said, with Cinderella's Castle, that's a show that they have yet to release. Like, they've already performed the show, but they have yet to release it on YouTube, so that should be later this year or early next year. But that's all I gotta say on Starkid. Any final thoughts from you, Caitlin? Because I feel like I've talked this whole time and barely had you talk.
Well, I mean, you know Starkid better than I do, so.
But do you have any final thoughts on Starkid? Other than stirring your ice for the 1,000th time?
I hope they do more with the Hatchetfield universe.
Oh, they definitely have to, because, I mean, they kind of do.
I would like a sequel to Nerdy Prudes Must Die.
Or at least something that involves the ending of Nerdy Prudes Must Die, that kind of carries on Grace being this all-powerful, like, demon witch
while also
thing.
Still being inherently Grace Chastity.
Right. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. And I think with that, I'll call it an episode here. If you guys enjoyed it, I know this was a longer episode and kind of rambly, but if you stuck with for this long, congrats to you, you're the real MVP. But we're gonna close off this episode here. I'm gonna drink some water and probably bathe in cold water because I am hot. If you live in Minnesota, stay cool out there. Drink plenty of water. Do positive things out there.
If you live in any of the southern states, also stay cool out there.
Yes, exactly. I've been Cameron.
I've been Kate.
And as always, we will see you in the next one.
Nerds out.